The first light of dawn paints the eastern sky in soft hues of purple and rose. The air is cool and still as the sun god Ra prepares to rise above the horizon. In a small mud brick home near the Nile, you awaken gently to the quiet of early morning. Through a high, narrow window covered by a reed mat, the pale dawn light filters in, illuminating the whitewashed walls of your simple room. You take a slow, deep breath, inhaling the earthy scent of clay mixed with the faint sweetness of baking bread. Rising from your reed mat bedding, you feel the smooth dirt floor cool under your bare feet. Like most people in Egypt, you usually go barefoot for comfort. You stretch your limbs in the soft light, feeling rested and at peace. In one corner of the single-room house stands a wooden stool and a small wicker basket of folded linen. You pick up a length of cloth, your daily kilt, woven from light linen threads, and wrap it around your waist, securing it with a simple belt of woven papyrus. This linen kilt is the common dress for both women and men, ideal for the warm climate. The fabric is cool against your skin, and its pale flaxen color has a calming familiarity in the new day. Your home is humble but cozy. The walls, made of sun-dried mud bricks, are plastered and painted a pale white that reflects the sun and keeps the interior cool. A faint glow of dawn seeps through the doorway, which is set slightly above ground level to keep out drifting sand. You roll up the reed mat that covered the door overnight and step outside into your walled courtyard. The sky above is becoming lighter, and a few last stars still twinkle faintly. In the courtyard, you hear a soft bleating from the family's goat and the rustling of a few chickens scratching the ground for insects. The air carries the damp, green aroma of the nearby river, mixed with a whiff of smoke from the clay brazier where the morning meal is being prepared. Near the courtyard's hearth, a small fire crackles gently under a clay oven. Your sibling, or perhaps your spouse, their figure moving calmly in the early light, tends to flat loaves of bread, baking on the hot surface. The comforting smell of freshly baked barley bread wafts through the courtyard, welcoming the new day. On a low table made of woven reeds, bowls already lay prepared with simple breakfast fare, coarse bread, a handful of dates, and a clay jug of beer. The beer is thick and nourishing, brewed from fermented barley, a staple drink safer than river water and rich with hearty grains. You scoop a bit of cool water from a pottery jar to rinse your face and hands, the droplets refreshing on your skin. The water was drawn from the Nile at dawn, still carrying a slight chill from the night. Cleanliness is important to you and your people. You feel revitalized by this small washing ritual. From a little clay jar you take a dab of scented oil, perfumed with frankincense, and gently rub it on your skin to prevent dryness in the arid air. You also trace a dark line of kohl beneath your eyes, using a small copper applicator. This familiar routine not only adorns your face, but helps reduce the sun's glare later in the day. In a shard of polished bronze acting as a mirror, you catch your reflection, eyes lined in black kohl, face calm and determined. You might not be wealthy enough for wigs or fine jewels, but around your neck hangs a simple bead amulet for good fortune, a small carved stone depicting the protective dwarf god Bes, who watches over households. Before you break your fast, you pause for a brief moment of gratitude. Turning toward the east, where the sky grows golden, you silently offer thanks to Ra for the return of the sun. The Egyptians believe each sunrise is the goddess Nut giving birth to the sun anew, a promise that life continues. You touch a hand to a tiny clay shrine set on a niche in the courtyard wall, a painted figurine of Mayat with outstretched wings. In your heart, you seek to live this day in balance and harmony, following the principle of Mayat, universal order and goodness. A tranquil energy fills you as light spills over the land. You sit on the stoop with your family to share the morning meal. The bread is still warm and dense, coarse with whole grain. You tear off a piece and dip it into a little dish of date honey, savoring the mingled sweetness and earthy flavor. A few fresh figs are passed around, their insides glistening with syrupy juice. You eat slowly, enjoying each bite. Most of your diet is simple and wholesome. Bread, beer, beans, and vegetables grown in the dark Nile soil. Meat is a rare luxury, usually reserved for festivals or offerings, so a vegetarian fare is normal for you. Today's breakfast is humble yet satisfying, nourishing bread, fruit, and cool beer that tastes slightly tangy and rich with yeast. As you eat, the world around you comes to life. The sun's edge peeks over the horizon, and a gentle light spreads across Wye. The walk to the pyramid site takes you along a well-trodden path by the Nile's edge. The morning sun climbs higher, spreading a gentle warmth over the fields. On your right, the great river Nile flows steadily northward, its waters shimmering blue and gold in the growing light. Fishermen in small reed boats glide through the lotus patches near the banks, casting their nets in hopes of a good catch. Along the path, rich green reeds and papyrus plants rustle softly. You pass by irrigation canals that channel life-giving water into the fields. Already farmers are out tending to rows of wheat and barley, their shouts to oxen echoing across the plain. In the distance, date palms and sycamore fig trees mark the location of other farmsteads. The air smells of moist soil and flowering tamarisk. As you near the construction site, the landscape shifts from fertile fields to a busy human settlement. Low mud brick barracks and workshops come into view. The outskirts of the workers' town provided for those building the king's pyramid. There is a hum of activity even as the day grows hot. Teams of men move in organized rhythm, and the faint sound of a work song drifts through the air. Not far ahead, the pyramid itself rises against the blue sky, a gigantic staircase of stone not yet smoothed into its final form. Its lower courses gleam white where polished Tura limestone casing blocks have already been set, reflecting the sunlight brilliantly. Higher up, workers appear as tiny figures, carefully maneuvering new blocks into place. You join your crew at the stone masonry yard at the pyramid's base. All around, stonecutters are at work shaping limestone blocks that have arrived from the nearby quarries. You find your half-finished block from the day before waiting where you left it in the shade of a canvas awning. Kneeling beside it, you run your fingers over the cool, chalky surface of the stone, feeling the chisel marks. This morning's task is to smooth and level the block's surface so it fits perfectly in the pyramid's outer wall. It is meticulous work, and you settle into it with focused calm. The clang of tools creates a steady, soothing tempo around you. Wooden mallets tap copper chisels with a tink, 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 and occasional shouts of instruction ring out as overseers guide a team hauling a sled of stone. The din is not chaotic, but orderly and purposeful, a chorus of human effort. You fall into a comfortable rhythm, lifting your mallet, striking the chisel, carving away thin slivers of limestone. With each tap, a puff of white dust drifts up in the sunlight. A co-worker beside you is shaping his block's edges, and together you work in companionable silence, punctuated only by a murmured joke or encouragement now and then. Despite the scale of the project around you, your world narrows to the simple, repetitive motions of your task. There is a meditative quality to the work. The mind can wander gently even as the hands stay busy. As the sun climbs toward its zenith, the heat intensifies. July in Egypt brings a fierce sun, and soon the limestone surfaces around you glow with heat. You pause to wipe your brow with your headcloth. Nearby, a water carrier makes their rounds. From a large ceramic jar, cool water is poured into a cup for each worker. You drink deeply, the water tasting of clay from the jar and a hint of the Nile's minerals. It is wonderfully refreshing in your parched throat. You are grateful for these moments of rest and the care taken to keep everyone hydrated. By midday, the overseer calls for a halt. It is time for the lunch break. Relieved, you set down your mallet and stretch out the stiffness in your back. All around, activity ceases for now. Many workers seek refuge from the sun under simple shelters of woven palm fronds or cloth. You retreat to a favorite spot beneath an acacia tree near the edge of the workyard, where dappled shade dances on the ground. The tree's leaves whisper with a slight breeze that has begun to blow from the north, bringing the promise of cooler air off the river. You unwrap the small bundle of food you brought from home, a round loaf of coarse bread and a few cloves of garlic and onion. The sharp, savory bite of the onion is strong, but it replenishes you with much-needed salt and flavor. Egyptian laborers often eat onions and garlic to boost health and vitality. Their pungent taste is welcome after a long, hot morning. You wash it down with gulps of cool beer from a clay flask, the liquid hearty with grain. It is said the pyramid workers are given generous rations of bread, beer, and onions as payment for their efforts. And you feel the truth of that as you enjoy your noon meal under the tree. Around you, small groups of fellow workers also rest and eat. Some chat quietly about their families or tell light-hearted stories to pass the time. A few younger men doze with their heads propped on their folded arms, catching a quick nap before work resumes. Not far off, an older laborer takes out a simple reed flute. He begins to play a slow, wistful melody, a gentle tune that floats through the warm air like a bird gliding on thermals. The music is soft and comforting, and several people nearby close their eyes to listen, smiling. In this moment of respite, the camaraderie of the workers shines through. Though the labor can be strenuous, they face it together with good humor and mutual support. Laughter sparks here and there in reaction to a hushed joke. Even the overseers, resting under an awning, allow themselves a chuckle. Looking up from your meal, you see the pyramid looming beyond, its massive shape shimmering in the midday sun. You reflect on the work of the morning and on the monument slowly rising stone by stone. It amazes you to think that each block you and your companion shape and place is contributing to something that will last for centuries or more. The thought fills you with quiet pride. These pyramids are not just tombs for the kings, but symbols of hope and continuity, built to honor life and ensure that the pharaoh's spirit joins the eternal stars. In a way, every worker is earning a place in that eternity through their toil. Shielding your eyes, you trace the pyramid silhouette against the sky. You imagine the day when it will be completed, its sides smooth and gleaming, perhaps visible from many miles away. To know you played a part in its creation gives your life a satisfying sense of purpose. Before the break ends, you take a final moment of quiet contemplation. The shade of the acacia tree, the murmurs of your fellow workers, and the distant shimmer of the Nile merge into a tableau of contentment. Your body, though tired and sweat-soaked, feels grateful for the chance to rest. You lean back against the tree trunk, watching sunlight filter through the leaves. High above, a pair of hawks circle lazily in the bright sky. For a few breaths, you simply exist in the present, heart filled with the simple joy of a midday pause. This balance of work and rest, effort and peace, feels right, an embodiment of Mayat, the harmony that guides all things. When the day's labors finally conclude, the sun is low in the western sky, draping the world in hues of amber and red. You join a stream of fellow workers leaving the pyramid site, all heading home to their families as shadows lengthen on the desert ground. There is a collective sigh of relief in the air. Feet shuffle through the sand and gravel, tired but content, raising small puffs of dust that glow in the sunset light. Some co-workers chat cheerfully about the day's accomplishments. Others walk in amiable silence, conserving their energy. As you depart, you glance back once at the towering pyramid, now gilded by the orange light of dusk. A soft sense of pride wells up again, knowing that today's efforts added another small part to that golden silhouette. The walk back to your village feels slower than in the morning, but the anticipation of a restful evening pulls you forward. A cooling breeze rises off the Nile, rustling through the reeds and carrying the moist, rich scent of river water. Over the far fields, you see farmers guiding their herds of cattle and goats back from pasture. Distant singing floats on the breeze, perhaps a group of women in a nearby hamlet singing a familiar tune as they grind grain or brew beer for the evening meal. The sky above is transforming from blue to a gradient of rose and orange, and the first tiny silver pinpoint of a star appears even as the last sunlight still gilds the palm tops. By the time you reach your home, twilight has settled. Warm light spills from the doorway of your house. Stepping inside, you are greeted by the wonderful aroma of dinner cooking. A clay pot simmers over the small indoor hearth, tended by your spouse, who gives you a tired but loving smile. Inside the pot is a hearty stew of lentils and vegetables, onions, garlic, and perhaps celery, seasoned with a dash of cumin and coriander. The smell is savory and soothing. A loaf of bread from the morning's baking has been saved for the evening meal. It sits on a plate ready to be broken and shared. You wash your hands and face with a little water from the jar, cleansing away the dust of the worksite. The cool water on your skin is rejuvenating, and you change into a clean linen wrap for comfort. Your family gathers on the floor around a low wicker table. Clay lamps are placed in the corners of the room, their tiny flames flickering and painting golden shadows on the walls. As darkness falls outside, you all give thanks to the gods for the food and the day's safe return. Then you join in the evening meal. You tear off pieces of bread and use them to scoop up the thick lentil stew. The flavor of garlic and herbs is rich, and the bread fills your belly with warmth. There might even be a small treat tonight, a few dates or figs saved from the morning, or a dab of honey to sweeten the bread. By the soft light of the oil lamp, you eat and talk quietly with your spouse and children, sharing simple stories of the day. After a long day of work, this moment of togetherness is precious and comforting. Once dinner is finished, you lean back against the wall, sipping the last of your beer from a clay cup. Night has fully fallen, and the sounds of the village evening filter in through the open door. Distant voices of neighbors bidding each other good night, a dog barking briefly before settling down, the chirp of crickets beginning their song. In the corner, your eldest child carefully brings out the family's worn Senate board, a polished wooden board etched with 30 squares. Your children's eyes light up in excitement. They have been waiting eagerly for you to play with them. You chuckle and agree to a short game before bedtime. The Senate board is laid on the floor, and little cone-shaped playing pieces are arranged at the start. You and your child take turns tossing the 4 flat sticks that serve as dice, moving your pieces across the board. It's a game of luck and strategy beloved by Egyptians for generations, and your household is no exception. Laughter ensues when one of you lands on a bad luck square and has to send a game piece back to the start. In this gentle competition, the worries of the day melt away. You are reminded that such simple joys with family are as vital a part of life as work and duty. The younger children gather around, giggling whenever their older sibling makes a dramatic move. After a close contest, the Senate game comes to an end. Tonight, luck was on your side, and you win by a narrow margin. Your child pouts playfully, but you ruffle their hair and praise their improving skill. It won't be long before they're winning every game. With the hour growing late, it is time to prepare for sleep. You step out into the courtyard, and the night embraces you with its cool touch. Overhead, the sky is a velvet blanket of darkness studded with countless stars. The Milky Way spills across it like a shimmering river of celestial light. The silver crescent of the moon has just risen above the palm trees, casting a gentle glow over the rooftops of the village. In this quiet hour, the familiar landscape is transformed. The fields are cloaked in shadow, and the great pyramid on the horizon is a silent silhouette against the starry sky. A hush has fallen over the world, broken only by natural nocturnal sounds. The distant howl of a jackal out in the desert, the soft croak of frogs by the riverbank, and the whisper of a late-night breeze through the palms. Your family carries a couple of woven reed mats and light blankets up the ladder to the flat roof of your home. Like many Egyptian households, you often sleep on the roof when the weather is fair, enjoying the cool night air and the open sky. On the rooftop, you lay out the bedding. The children, already drowsy, curl up together on one mat, while you and your spouse settle on another. The little oil lamp is placed in a sheltered corner, its flame shielded from the breeze. It casts a warm amber glow on the parapet wall, while the rest of the roof is illuminated by moonlight and the soft starlight. Before sleep, you take a moment to appreciate the beauty of the night. Above you, the star patterns twinkle in their eternal courses. You spot a familiar grouping of 3 bright stars in a row, shining high in the south, a part of the great hunter Orion, which some say embodies Osiris, the god of rebirth. You recall a tale your father once told. Those stars are a fragment of Osiris's soul, placed in the sky to watch over the world. Perhaps, you muse, among them dwell the spirits of your own ancestors, watching over you. Such thoughts are comforting and bring a gentle smile to your lips. The Egyptians see divinity in every aspect of nature, and the night sky is no exception. The goddess Nut arches overhead, her star-studded body forming the vault of heaven. Each night she swallows the sun, and each morning she gives birth to it again, so that the cycle of day and night continues. Under her vast embrace, you feel a profound sense of connection to the divine and to all those who have gazed at this same sky before you. Beside you, your spouse whispers a quiet prayer to thank the gods for the day's blessings and to ask for protection through the night. You add your own silent thanks, gratitude for the productive day, for the food in your belly, for the health of your family, and for the peace of this moment. In the corner of the rooftop, you have placed a tiny offering bowl with a bit of bread and a few drops of beer, a humble gift to the household spirits as a gesture of thanks. It is an old family custom, meant to ensure good fortune and to ward off any wandering spirits until morning. One by one, the children drift off to sleep, their breathing slow and even. You lie on your back, looking up at the infinite expanse of stars. The constellations slowly wheel overhead as the earth turns, just as they have on every clear night for thousands of years. In the distance, you can still hear the faint music of life, a lullaby carried on the breeze from another home, the soft bleating of a sheep in its pen, the faint rustle of reeds by the river. These gentle sounds grow softer as the night deepens. Wrapped in your light linen blanket, your body relaxes fully into the mat. The warmth of the day's exertions has ebbed from your muscles, leaving a pleasant heaviness in your limbs. A gentle contentment fills your heart. The concerns of work and the world feel far away under this vast, starry sky. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to your own steady breath and to the comforting presence of your loved ones around you. In your final waking moments, you reflect briefly on the circle of the day. In ancient Egypt, life flows in cycles, from day to night, from toil to rest. And you have done your part in both. You have provided for your family and contributed to something enduring, and now it is time to let the fruits of your labor settle. All is as it should be. There is balance. There is ma'at. A cool night breeze whispers over your skin, and you pull the blanket up to your shoulders. The stars above seem to flicker as if singing a quiet lullaby. Your eyelids grow heavy. In the peaceful silence, you allow yourself to let go of the day. Your breathing slows and deepens as a wave of tranquility washes over you. Safe in your home, under the protective gaze of the moon and stars, you drift into sleep. The village is quiet now, the Nile's waters reflecting the moonlight in gentle ripples. All across the land, families like yours are sleeping under the Egyptian sky, resting until the first light of morning. In this profound peace, your mind floats between waking and dreaming. The ancient night cradles you in its embrace, and you slip fully into a deep, restful slumber. Sleep well, dear friend, until the sun returns with a new day.